This leaf from the Gutenberg Bible is an important artifact available at the BYU-Idaho McKay Library Special Collections. It is a leaf of the 38th chapter of Job, and it was printed on the Gutenberg printing press, one of the first, I think the first printing press with movable type. The printing press works to create such a document where the printer places individual letters into the press and then covers those letters with ink and presses the ink into the paper. There are some key differences between how this document works and how the handwritten Bible that we looked at in a previous video work, although there are some key similarities. Those similarities are pretty easy to be seen, and some of them are rather interesting. For one, there is the similarity of colored writing that work to help readers identify specific parts. Specifically, as you look down about 2/3 of the way down that first column, there's XXVIII, which is the Roman numeral for 38. And then a big red R to help the reader quickly identify where the beginning of that chapter is. Also, if you look closely, you can see that the serifs that were on the handwritten documents are also on this printed document. When I first saw this, I was surprised at how amazing the handwriting was in the previous handwritten Bibles. I said, these characters are almost exactly like type. And then I realized that it's not that the characters are exactly like type, but rather that the type is exactly like characters. The person who designed the type, Gutenberg, took special care to design the typesetting so that it looked like the handwritten type of the monks who wrote the Bible through the painstaking processes which we talked about in that previous video. So the serifs remain, helping the reader to look through the text and to read quickly and smoothly without any error. As you can also see, this page is a little bit more clear because unlike the handwritten document, there's no practicing in the margins, and it's made on paper that's a little bit brighter, a little bit easier for readers to see. This document was purchased at an auction and reads kind of a fascinating part of the scriptures. The school is very lucky to have a copy of it. The scripture, if you want to follow along there in the beginning of chapter 38, says, "Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who hath laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy." This document works because the words that are printed on this page are true. Men and women, children of God, truly were present at the creation of earth, and we shouted for joy. And I shout for joy that this document is available for the public to look at and see the history of printing, the history of Christianity, and really the history of all eternity, as recorded in the book of Job.